For those people that watch this after the fact on YouTube, or they watch it somewhere, we're in our weekly book club with Coach Michael Burt, author of Flip the Switch, uh, which is really about how to activate what we call the prey drive inside of a person. How many of you are finding points in the book that you go, you know what, man, it's got me thinking about something, it's stimulating something, it's got me open to something. See, the book, as I read the book, I make highlights, and I'm like, man, boom. Okay. Like boom, that right there, I needed to hear that. Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Oh, that, right. Because what really separates an author, in my opinion, is how they package an idea. Okay. Because I heard one person quoted, one person wrote a review and said, you know, the way Coach Burt packages concepts is unique. Okay. Some of the concepts I've heard before, but they're packaged in a way, and it's packaged based on my unique past, my unique experiences, my unique mentors. So the way I package concepts plus my athletic background is really, I'm a coach trying to coach you towards something, right? And in the book, you know, that's toward your B. Okay. So I literally just did the exercise because I'm at the Activate boot camp. I just did the exercise A to B upstairs we got about 30 or 40 people here at the lodge today. And I was working them toward their B. Now, why that's important, because we're going to get into chapter 6 and 7 today, is until the B is clear, the B being your ideal picture, the brain is confused about what actions it should take to get there. Does everybody understand that? This is why we have to crystallize our B. It's got to be very clear. This is what I'm trying to do every day. Now, the mindsets of the prey drive come in when I don't feel like it. That's when our because goals kick in. Okay. When I don't want to prospect, when I don't want to do the things it takes to generate income, when I don't want to follow up, that's when my deep because goals come in, which are deep intrinsic reasons to do something when you do not feel like it. Okay. There's going to be a lot of things you got to do today that you go, man, I just don't feel like doing it. And that is part of the persistence of prey drive, right? There's activation, there's persistence, there's intensity. Okay. And so the persistence kicks in. It's like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. Guys, I've been coaching people for 31 years. I got off a plane last night at 9 o'clock from Orlando. I'd spoken all day. I did a webinar yesterday for my Purpose to Profit people. And then I got right on a plane. I flew home, and I had to get right up this morning, see my kids, and then come teach for 7 or 8 hours. Okay. I don't always feel like it, right? These are 30 new people who've never seen me before. They've driven in or flown in on airplanes. They're expecting me to be my best. They're expecting transformation. They've come to my lodge. They're not expecting Coach Burt to go, well, you know, suck it up, man. You're a little tired from speaking to 1,000 people yesterday. Who cares? They want the best, and I want to give them the best. So this is why knowing how to activate your prey drive is important. Okay. Because I got to call up on that prey drive, and I got to activate that prey drive, and I want to give them an experience. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because I've never said this before. I want you to start giving your clients an experience that when you're done, they beg you for more. See, I did Master the Stage, where me and Tim Story spent 12 weeks with people. Then we did a 2-day event in Los Angeles. When we were done, they were crying. They asked us, would we keep going? And I came home and I told my wife, Natalie, I'm like, now that is how it should be. Create such an incredible experience that activates their drive that they actually beg you to keep going. You don't have to sell them anything. They're already sold. Everybody see that? They're already wanting. They're asking you, will you do more? Will you do that? Will you do this? Okay. And so that's going to kind of tie into so if right now you're not creating that experience for people, and it's more transactional, and it's really hard to sell, then I would encourage you to go to work on creating a more transformational experience that transforms their mind, their thoughts, their energy, to where they go, you know what? I would like another round of this, please. Okay. I would like to keep going with you. I don't want to stop. This is too good. And this really ties into chapter 6, which we're going to cover today, which is on page 125, creating value in the world. Okay, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Money is just paper, and it's only worth something because we decided it was. Okay, it's only, no, here's what I was telling my wife. If these banks fail, the government will step in, they'll print more money. John Wright, am I right about this? John Hart, they'll print more money, they'll bail people out. They'll like if that happens, that's what they're going to do. Okay, they're saying that, hey, you know what, they're going to make sure all the depositors get paid back. Now, when they did that, they're kind of saying, man, for all the banks that do it, now they're kind of setting a precedent here. So money has value because we say it does. Okay, but where does the money come from? It is just a byproduct of value creation. Money is just an exchange. See, in the old days, if you went way back, guess what we did? We bartered. I had something of value. Lucy had something of value. She gave me her value and I gave her my value. It was a family-owned business. We didn't have employees. We traded because we created value for each other. Okay. Well, then we created so much value that we had to go outside the family. We hired employees. Then we had to hire managers. If you go back and study how businesses were created in the old days, we just traded value. I bring my value to you. You bring your value to me. We both get a win. Money is just the exchange of value. So when you're creating value in the world, you're trying to create unique value. Okay. You're trying to create unique value. So there's a guy who's here today who came to me and on the break and he said, man, I was so skeptical to come to this lodge. I'm telling you, had a bad attitude. And he said, man, you totally shattered all that in the first 2 sessions. And here's what he said to me. I tried to run a coaching business and I was great at coaching, but I did not understand how to sell it. I couldn't run an organization. It was incredibly hard. He's like, man, what you've done is amazing. If people knew how hard this was, because I've tried it before, that they would really appreciate this. Well, here's the deal. I'm trying to create unique value based on my unique skill set. Okay. And your unique skill set comes from your past. Okay. Remember the saying, I am paying you for your past. Okay. Everybody has brilliance. Everybody on this call today has brilliance. The question is not, do you have brilliance? Do you know how to package that brilliance? Do you know how to market that brilliance? Do you know how to monetize that brilliance? Do you know how to embrace the suck long enough to see it through to where you actually do it and you don't start and quit and start and quit and start and quit? See, that is the persistence of prey drive, right? It's like, hey, I want to do this. I'm going to figure out how to go do it. Okay. So a lot of people see it in their mind, but they can't see it through, right? They see it in its mental creation, but they can't quite do the physical creation part, which is marketing, packaging, selling. This is the part where people struggle with. This is why our Purpose to Profit event was so popular, because it is about finding, packaging, marketing, and monetizing. And any part of this formula that is not tight will cost you a lot of money. So value creation is, hey, man, I have unique value. That unique value is based on my unique past. I have packaged that past into a solution to your problem. Now I got to present this solution to you. Okay. Now I'm going to give you an example, because what we're talking about is being a contender. I'm contending for business every day. I'm not a pretender. I'm not a wannabe. I'm tired of emulating other people. I'm ready to be in the game. How many of y'all ready to be in the game? I'm tired of emulating. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being underpaid. I'm tired of whatever. I'm tired of being highly talented and undercapitalized. I'm sick of it. So you may not have a talent problem. You may have a marketing problem, or you may have a seeing it through to its conclusion problem. So this is an example of how to find a problem and go present an idea. I'm gonna go back to, I was speaking in Carlsbad, California, a few weeks ago. Much of the population were young salespeople that were 21 to 24. I did the talk, flip the switch. Okay. From the talk, flip the switch, I noticed that some of the young people came up to me. They talked to me. I asked the person, what is the number one problem you have? He said, high turnover, because the young people are not tough enough when they don't go out and sell something. So they quit. Then we have to go get more young people. Okay. Here's the sales part of me. I go back to him on a scale of 1 to 10. How big of a problem is this for you? And are you willing to invest money to solve it? Because if you're not willing to invest money to solve it, good luck. Keep having the same problem. Keep having turnover. Keep having people that ain't tough enough. If you are ready to solve it, I would like to present an opportunity where I take your high potentials for 90 days. I put them through Pray Drive 101. I put them through the habits of the top performers in the world. I put them through personalized coaching from me. Okay. Now, would you be willing to invest money to solve these problems? And if not, you're not a prospect for me. Thank you for bringing me in to speak. Thank you for paying me to speak. Thank you for buying my book. I'm moving on to the next prospect. I'm not going to try to beg you. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to try to manipulate you. I'm not going to try to hard sell you. I have an idea. I'm going to present that idea to you. Okay. If you don't like that idea or you're not willing to spend money on it, I'm moving on to the next person. So I left an exit convention where I spoke to exit real estate agents yesterday. I went back to the two main people today in a voice text. And I said, hey, thank you for, doing this. I want you to really push this out to every single agent because they got about 5,000 agents. It's a 4-week, $97 series. And I'm trying to get large numbers of people on it. I said, but why don't you tell me who are your top 3 offices that have the highest potential? And let me put together a special package for them. And what is their number one problem? Is it attracting agents? Is it developing agents? Is it retaining agents? Is it getting agents Pray Drive activated? Right? You give me those people for 90 days and let's see how it goes. And if it goes good, I want to talk about all 5,000 of your agents. Does everybody see that? Does everybody see how I'm creating opportunity? I'm creating value, and I'm creating value by solving a problem for them. Okay. Let's just say I went to them and I said, look, I am not going to charge you anything. I want to take all 5,000 of your agents, and I think I can get you a 20% increase in sales over the next 90 days. Okay. Let's do the math. What would a 20% increase equal for you? If they come back and they say, well, it equals $500,000. Okay. Let's make a deal. I'll coach them for 90 days for free. I get 30% of the take. So if I increase the sales by 500,000, I get 150. Fair deal? See, this is how you create value in the world. You find problems and you follow up on those problems. You find ambitions. The pretender talks about problems. So I put in the book, I learned this from one of my agents I coach, Ben Wilson. He said there's 4 types of people in the world, and you can tell when you talk to people where they fall. He said low-level people get together and they talk about other people. They spend all their time talking about other people. He said the second level of people get together and talk about events. Who's going to win the game? Who's going to win the NCAA? Who's going to do this? Who's doing this? They talk about events. He said high-level people talk about ideas. They're in the arena. They're not spectators. They're not sitting in the stands paying money to watch somebody else play. They're on the field. Okay. He said real high level people get together and talk about ideas, but the highest level of people get together and talk about execution of ideas. Okay. Now, I met a gentleman not long ago when I was speaking in Miami at a conference named Andy Elliott. Andy Elliott's a sales trainer. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a crazy culture. They do push-ups there all together. They all look alike, talk alike. They're fanatical. And I love it. And I didn't know him and he didn't know me. Okay. And he texted me when I was speaking at that convention. He said, man, I love it. I love what you do. And my people on my team love you. We should do something together. Idea. Notice we didn't talk about other people. We didn't spend our time talking about other people. We didn't spend our time talking about the other speakers. We didn't spend our time talking about who's going to win the football game. We got it. Okay, here's an idea. Let's put together something that you and I do together. That's nothing but sales, Prey Drive and sales. That's all it is, revenue. Because you focus on closing. I focus on the front end, the Prey Drive, the selling system. Within a day, we had put together an agreement to do a 2-day event together in Tennessee at my lodge and in Arizona. Okay. Now, look at how fast we moved from an introduction of two guys who didn't know each other to an idea, to a funnel, to a landing page, to marketing. All right. How are we going to market the idea? We're going to spend 4 weeks doing 4 webinars. We're going to call them power hours. We're going to start marketing on social media. We're going to start pushing. We're going to give it to your sales team to sell. Like, look at how fast we took an idea and turned it into action. Right. And it's like, boom, let's get 150 people at the lodge. Let's get 400 people in Arizona. And every day we communicate with each other. So I was talking to him this morning about Prey Drive through voice text. He was texting me back going, man, I love it. I love Prey Drive, man. I get it. Killer instinct. So what we're doing is we're very quickly moving. We're not pretending. We're not going to sit around and talk about it. We're not going to sit around and do a poll on it. We're not going to do a focus group on it to see if it's needed in the world. I know people need to learn how to freaking sell something, especially in today's world. Okay. So I got all the data I need to put something together. Now, we may put it together and it may not be as successful as we thought it was going to be. I doubt it, but it may not be. It's still a win because we're getting into action. This is the biggest thing I'm talking about in this book right here. I get into action quick and I recalibrate faster. And I do not let failure bother me. I do not let anything bother. I just like keep going, man. That's the habit of the top 1%. They just keep coming. They just keep coming, man. You can't keep them down. They just keep figuring out how to win. They're still figuring out how to win in today's economy. They're not dependent on anybody. They're dependent on themselves. Okay. And at the end of the day, I have all these deep because goals and I write about them in the book. Okay. Listen to this one. Because I stayed in cheap hotels for years, I made up my mind I was going to generate enough money to stay in nice hotels. I'm high maintenance when it comes to a hotel room, folks. I'm just going to tell you, because I stayed in the Clarions and the Micro Hotels and the Super 8s and the Red Roofs Inn. And let me tell you something, because of that, Ryan Taylor, I made up my mind. I ain't never staying at a Red Roof Inn again. Okay. Like, here's my point. That's a because goal. Okay. Because a good coach changed my life. I made up my mind I was going to change other people's lives. Okay. Because I believe there's no money where there's no mission. There's no mission where there's no money. Man, I made up my mind I was going to generate enough money to be able to help people. Okay. Now, so what I do is I go into the psychology of what really activates a person's drive. And to be honest with you, Bonnie Huntsman, after talking about this book for 2 years, you know what I'm most fascinated by? I'm most fascinated by the psychology of activating the drive in a person and their because goals. Like now I'm getting into the deep, bigger reasons people really get motivated because they grew up with nothing and they made their mind up. They was never going to go back to where they came from because somebody helped them when they didn't need it or deserve it. They made up their mind they was going to help other people. See, because these big because goals. So when you think about it, if you don't know your because goals, what's going to happen is you're going to get into something and you're going to be obligated to it versus committed to it. See, there's a big difference between being obligated to something and being committed to something, folks. When I'm committed, I'm all in. Guess what's in? My heart is in. When I'm not committed, my heart's not involved. Name one thing in your life that you're great at right now that your heart's not involved in. See, it's going to be hard. Name a relationship that you're really good at that you don't care about. Name a business that you're really good at that your heart's not involved. See, when the heart's not involved, your passion's not involved. You don't care. And when you don't care, you don't put energy to it. Okay? This is because goals. Okay? And so how many of you think that it's time for you to kind of flip the switch in going from a pretender, which is talking about ideas and worried about other people, talking about events, to I'm committed. I'm going pro. I'm leaving my amateur desires behind. Okay. I made a decision this morning. I got to this lodge and something wasn't the way I wanted it. I told my wife, I said, that's it. Today, I'm making a decision today. I'm not coming out here one more time and it's not be the way I want it. Okay. I've been doing this 31 years. We can get this right. It's a decision backed up by commitment. The commitment is time, money, and resources. It's not a commitment if you won't put time into it, energy into it, money into it. Okay. So this is very important. So this is really what this chapter is about. It's a short chapter, but it's like, if you're tired of being a pretender, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just meant like, man, quit playing with your potential. Quit being casual with your potential. Quit treating your own self second class. Quit thinking other people are better than you. Quit supplicating to people. Now, if they don't want to do business with you, move on to somebody else. Okay. This is something you really need to make a decision. Okay. The reason I partner with Andy, because I only got so much time to partner with so many people. The reason I partner with Tim Story is because Tim Story appreciates me. And he values me. And he opens doors for me. And we believe in each other. Andy appreciates me. See, I go to some people and I say, we should do something together. And they say, oh, call my agent or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I ain't calling your agent. I'm talking to you. Okay. Now you can have somebody else call your agent, but I'm not calling them. Okay. So I'll move on to somebody else who wants to do something with me. And there's plenty of people who want to do something. So I don't get mad at them. What have I taught you guys to say? Thank you. I owe you. Thank you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just going to go to somebody who wants to do it. See, I want to work with somebody who feeds me energy, not somebody that's a prima donna that sucks the life out of you. Okay. I want people who go, man, when I talk to Andy, it's like, let's go, let's do this. I love Pray Drive. I'm in. You tell me what you need me to do. That's who I'm looking to partner with. Positive, upbeat. We go where we feel celebrated, not tolerated. Does everybody see that? Okay. Now let's finish today with chapter 7, because toward the end of the book, I wanted to get into selling. Because I believe nothing happens until something is sold. Where there's no profit, there's no mission. Where there's no money, there's no mission. So what I do in the book is I get into how do you flip the switch in selling? Now, let me tell you why this is harder for people. There's not a lot of people who love the act of selling. Okay. They see it as a necessary evil of the business. It's like, man, I don't enjoy this part. I don't want to sell. I don't want to market. I don't want to promote. I just want to show up, and I get it. But every major artist that you see perform now at one time had to set up their own stage, had to carry their own guitar, had to sell their own merchandise. You understand? Including me. Okay. Sell my own books, set up my own stands, drive my own PowerPoints, drive my own car, whatever. Every major person you see in the world had to sell. Okay. So you got to get into this concept of the reason I am so convicted about this. The reason I have so much Pray Drive is because there's something I want. I want a better life. I want to drive a better car. I want to put my kids to a better school. I want freedom, time freedom, money freedom, relationship freedom. I want to be able to work with who I want, when I want, how I want. Well, something has to be sold. Okay. So you may go, I don't like that part. Here, I want to repurpose this. Selling is just solving problems. And when you change your mind about what selling is, and you change your mind about rejection, see, that's why I love Jimmy Evans, the pastor. He did a whole series called I Changed My Mind. I changed my mind about rejection. I changed my mind about insecurity. I changed my mind about this. I love it because you can change your mind. I changed my mind about selling. It's like, man, this ain't hard. I'm going to call people. I'm going to talk to them about what their problems are and what they want to do with their life. And I'm going to present to them an idea. If they don't do it, they're not rejecting me. Some will, some won't. So what? I can't help them until they commit. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to get mad at them. I'm going to say, thank you. I owe you. Let me go on to the next person. See, what I did is I took the selling process and I go, man, I ain't going to complicate this. And I'm not going to make it real complicated. I'm not going to get mad at it. This is a necessary part. Okay. So I can sell in one of two ways. I can market and advertise, to produce a lead. Or I can use hand-to-hand combat. That means I can pick up the phone and call people. So yesterday, I was marketing when I was speaking. We sold X number of thousands of dollars of my coaching. Now I'm going to go back and use hand-to-hand combat and say, okay, out of everybody you got, who's your top 3 or 4 I'd like to work with? Don't give me any duds. Give me the people who are serious. I'm working with the Navy SEALs, not the baby SEALs. And I will help you get an increase. Now, if you see me as an asset, you are willing to pay for that asset. If you see me as a liability, you ain't willing to pay for the liability. So if you don't see me as an asset, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm going to move on to somebody who does see me as an asset. Everybody see that? Okay. And I don't even worry. I don't even give 2 thoughts about it. I don't see it as rejection. I'm just going to keep on moving because there is no shortage of money, opportunity, of anything. There is only a shortage of courage and creativity and prey drive. Okay. I've even changed my mind about obscurity. See, I used to be so mad at obscure because I wasn't known. I wasn't famous yet. I didn't know enough people. And then I heard TD Jakes talk about obscurity as obscurity was God's way of protecting you from being known until you're ready to be known. See, I changed my mind about obscurity. Like we're taught obscurity is a bad thing. You got to get known. You got to become famous. Well, what if you ain't ready to be famous? What if you got out there and you ain't as good as you think you are? What if you get out there and you're not ready? See, that's what he was saying. Is he preached in a little church in West Virginia for 11 years and nobody knew him. He wasn't ready to be known until he started the Potter's House in Dallas, Texas. See, that is when he was ready to be known. And then he said, I didn't set out to be famous. I set out to be effective. And the more effective I became, the more famous I was. See, that's changing your mind about fame. So what I'm telling you when it comes to prey drive is there's things I don't like to do that are part of running a business. And I can either do those things myself, I could partner with somebody who does these, or I could outsource it, or I could hire people to do it. Some of you get caught up in, I got to do everything. I got to do everything. I got to sell it. I got to service it. I got to deliver it. Now, I just did the Purpose to Profit event. You know what I love about those events? I bring in a team of people. They handle all the marketing. They have a sales force. They handle all the production. They handle all the coaching calls. Here's what I say. They say, we need you to show up and do this, coach. I'm like, done. That's it. That's all I want to do. You guys handle everything else. Now they get a big percentage of that money. And I don't care at all. I don't mind one bit for them to get that money. Because why? It does all the things for me so I can do what I do best. Okay. Now that's a who concept. Who can help me? Who can help me? Who can help me move from A to B? Okay. So I want you to get in this week to these chapters, pretender versus contender, and they're short. And then I want you to get into this chapter on prey drive and selling. Because it is a really good chapter on breaking down my selling system. And I think it'll really help you. But at the end of the day, guys, here's what I'm saying. The way you create value in the world is you solve a problem. You solve a problem for somebody and they're willing to pay you for that. Now, what they're willing to pay you, my old high school needs a coach right now. I think they may have hired a coach, but the coach got fired because she wasn't winning any games. And for 1 second, I thought I'll go back and win another championship. And then I thought, nah, bad idea. Because the truth is all they're going to pay me is $50,000 to go back and win one. Now, if I could say this, look, I'm going to keep my coaching job. I'm going to keep coaching people and I'm going to coach this team as well. Could you pay me 50 grand just to do that? And would it be worth it to do it if I could help the kids? Maybe. See, that solves a problem for somebody. So let me end with this and I'll take a few questions. What problem do you want to solve? How excited are you about solving it? How good are you at marketing to other people that you are the expert? And quit telling people what you do and show them. Show people what you do. Man, I'm doing this today. I'm doing this today. Man, I'm out here in the field doing this. Man, I'm doing this. You know, instead of telling us what you do, show us what you do every day. Document it. Okay? And change your mind about what selling is. Selling is just solving problems for people, and make it fun. Make it fun. I call people and I'm like, man, you ready to go? I'm dying to help you, but I can't get you started until I get you started. Nothing changes until you change. So can I help? Would you like my help with this? I'll finish with this. I went through a thing with Dave Blanchard, who I really love. He's a good friend of mine now. And he was one of my coaches for a period of time. And he gave me some free coaching, kind of like I'm doing for you guys. And then at the end, he said, here's how I can help you go from A to B in your life, coach. Here was his close. Would you like my help with this? Isn't that a great close? There was no pressure to it. It was simply as, this is how I can help you achieve your dreams. This is how I'm uniquely qualified to solve your problems. And would you like my help with this? That was his close. And it's an easy answer. Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. And if you say, yes, I do, it's like, okay, my assistant will send you the proper paperwork. You can make payment and we'll get started. That's as simple as it was. I thought it was one of the best closes ever. Michael Cubrith, how do you even say no when you get to that point? How do you get to that point and go, you know what? Okay. I had a guy, when I started doing custom suits, guy came to my house. You'll like this, Michael Morris. Guy came to my house. I picked out the clothing I wanted. He measured me in my house. And then he said, which one of these would you like, coach? And I said, I'll take that one right there. And then he said, okay, great. And I said, just out of curiosity, you know, how much does it cost? And he slid across the thing. It was $1,800. And I said, this was my very first custom suit I ever bought. And I went, is there just out of curiosity, is there a starter level? And you know what he said? This is the starter level. How do you say no at that point? The dude's in my house. He's already measured me for the suit. I've already picked the suit out. I've already picked like, what do you do? Say, you know what? Get it. I'm not buying it. I bought that custom suit for $1,800 and it was the best suit I ever bought. I wore that thing and I felt like $1 million when I wore it. I never went back to wearing anything but custom after I wore that suit. Everybody see that? I was scared to death, but it was one of the best things I ever did, guys. That was a great close. Okay. So I'll be coming to each one of your houses over the next couple of weeks. Okay. And I'm going to sit down and talk about your life and your future. And then we'll say, would you like my help with this? All right. Does anybody have any questions today? Good session today, guys. Anybody have any questions that they want to ask me here? I got just a minute before I got to go back upstairs and start coaching. And I'm going to eat some soup while we're talking because I hadn't had lunch yet.
Just to say thank you.
I love that.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you too. I've kind of been out for the last couple of sessions. I unfortunately got diagnosed with epilepsy, which I didn't know. Right. And it kept me from reading the book. So I got some catching up to do the next couple of nights, but I'm glad I was able to join today. And thank you so much for your sessions, Coach.
Thank you. Now I don't have good news yet, but I went to my publisher and I said, please, for the love of God, let me record this book on Audible. Okay.
Please.
And I'm sitting there and I've sat there and I've asked her, and my editor said, I'll take it all the way up to the president of the company. And I'm like, look, we will sell these things like crazy if you will let me friggin' read this book on Audible. Okay. I know you chose somebody else. The dude, he don't even have Pray Drive. The freaking dude reading it. And I'm like, look,
can't have that.
Let me read it. And I'm telling you, we'll double the number of sales. Okay. So I'm working them. I'm working them. Okay. So if I can get this done, I'm going to go into the studio and cut it myself. And if I can't, I'm trying to figure out a workaround. Okay.
Who do we need to get in touch with? Because I'll tell you, I'm on my third go round of the book.
Yeah.
And the last two, I usually read a book, read the book, physical book first. And then I follow it with the audio and then read it at about, 1.75 speed.
Yep.
Even at 1.75 speed, that dude's voice is like sleepy.
I know. Send me an email at coach@coachburt.com and just say, love Coach Burt, but man, we want Coach Burt to read that book. And I'll send it to the publisher.
For sure. And one last thing too, by the way, Thanks for last weekend. Unfortunately, I couldn't pop in on Saturday, but one of my business partners joined up,
Yeah.
and he hadn't even heard of you. He loved it. So he's actually thinking about going big time. So
I like it.
just appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Michael Miller, let's take a few questions here. I see 3 or 4.
Hey, boss, I do have a question. I have the pleasure of selling real estate in the city of Las Vegas, which I love both of
Wow.
those. I'm running into a lot of people that got fear.
Yep.
When I'm on the other end of the phone, they're just scared and tons of excuses. And I'm just having a heck of a time identifying their fear, acknowledging it, and then, of course, solving it. I'm struggling there.
That's a great question. Listen, I see the same thing in coaching, Michael, and real estate. What the biggest thing to understand about fear is this. What people need is courage. And what overcomes fear? Information overcomes fear. Okay, what people need is more information. So you got to go into kind of a major educational role here of explaining all kinds of things. Okay, now, and you got to get back to the old-fashioned art of selling. Like I just bought a condo in downtown Nashville for $1.5 million with the rates where they are. And I'll be honest with you, the real estate agent sold it to me. She said, Coach, it's corner unit. There's no more real estate being built here. There's no more space for it. It's only going to appreciate in value. She did such a good job of convincing me, you want to do it. I get that the rates are not where you want to go, but let me make an argument of why you need to do this. And she literally got me across the finish line because it was between renting, continuing to rent, but she was a master at convincing me to move forward. And she, so I got to give her credit. She earned every bit of the commission, and she was so impressive that I said, man, you're good. You sold me that unit. So I think that you got to get back to the old fashioned art of it, listening and acknowledging. I understand why you're afraid. I understand. I wouldn't be doing my job as your agent if I didn't make an argument here on the pros and cons of this. Okay. And make your argument, and you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. Okay. Because I equate that, Michael, to people calling me saying, man, I need a coach right now, but I can't afford it. I hear that every day. Man, I want you to be my coach, but I'm scared. I don't have the money. And I got to say, I get it. I understand. Let me make an argument of how I'm going to help you make money if you sign up for my coaching. Okay. And so we got to get back. It's called I think it's the lost art of selling. We got to get back to get people excited. Get them excited about it, man. Get them excited about it. Paint a picture for them. Get their future going. Tap into that future driver, man. I want to do this. Because buying a house is so emotional. It's like getting married. People get all crazy, right? How much do people spend money on weddings? It's like they just lose their mind on weddings. So people are still paying 30 grand to get married right now during this economy because it's their wedding. They got to have the best wedding. They got to do this. Although some people say, I'll just go to Vegas. I'll just go to Vegas to get married. Okay, Michael, does that help you?
Yeah, it costs more than 30 grand to get married in Vegas, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
No, I appreciate you. I enjoyed that 3 days we spent together last week. That was a good time. Thank you.
Yeah. Prey Drive is at an all-time high right now. It's at a premium because this is what people really need. I get frustrated just like you guys do, when I have something good and other people won't buy it. That frustrates me. But I've learned to just change my mind about it and just keep going. I'm going to keep going until I go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated, man. I'm going to just keep going until I find the people I'm looking for. Okay. All right, Yvonne.
Hi, Coach. So my question for you is, how do you draw out like the clarity portion of the because goals to have a big enough reason to do the things that we don't want to do? Like where do you do, what do you do to draw that out of yourself?
I sat down when I wrote this book, Yvonne, and I literally asked, what are my deepest because goals? Like why do I have steam in the engine? Some of it had to do with my past, my parents. It had to do with the competitive side of me that wanted to be better, wanted to be people, wanted to be competitive. It had to do, I think you got to spend some time in a quiet moment and just reflect on, where does the steam in the engine come from? Could come from conflict. It comes from somewhere. And you got to locate where it came from. I do this because of this. I do this because of this. I do this because of this. And it could be because you get fed in some way. There's a trade, there's an exchange, right? That's really what purpose is. The exchange of your talent for a problem that people appreciate. Okay, hope that helps you.
It does. Thank you.
Deborah, you got a question? It's the last one today. Then I got to go coach these folks who are at the lodge.
That's okay. Well, I'm in the same as Michael a little bit in that, we're overcoming the fear thing and we can't step on each other's toes. But one of the things that I've thought about, and I don't know what your thoughts are here, but I've been meeting with a lot of lenders and different people just trying to educate myself on what all's happening in the lending side and things like that. And I think sending the other realtors information, because I don't think a lot of them are doing the same thing we're doing in terms of getting out there and like working the system and trying to solve the problem. So, I mean,
Well, yes. Here's what I would tell you.
Mhm.
Collaboration wins every time over competition.
Right.
And what two real estate agents are trying to do is sell a house. So the more you can work together, the more you can, well, there's going to be 30% of the real estate agents that get out. There's going to be like, I ain't tough enough to do this. They're going to just quit. And that's okay. Competition will weed out people who are not contenders.
Right.
That's why we have sports championship games. It's why we have playoffs, because it weeds out the people who are not tough enough. And winning ain't about how good you are. It's about how tough you are. When I went to get my third degree, when I went to go through the doctoral level, first thing the professor said is, this ain't got anything to do with how smart you are. So we don't even think it's who's smartest, who's going to win here. You know what he said? He said, it's the people who are the toughest that are going to finish this.
Right.
That's
right.
the only thing it comes down to. And I never forget that.
I've encouraged a couple people that have just started Monster and book club and all that kind of stuff lately, just saying the same thing, because I started last year and it was tough, and you have to get through the weeds.
Oh yeah.
To the things that are really important, and it just takes some time and it takes some work to get through that stuff to kind of get on the right track. So
100%. And the people who see it through, I tell people all the time, the people who show up with me with the most frequency make the most money. The people who show up with me with the least consistency and the least frequency make the least money. It's just a proven fact. I could show you statistically, the people who show up the most make the most money. Okay. And the people who say, oh, well, I've heard him talk about that before. So, I'm not going to go listen to it. See, I dug in with Covey for 8 years. 8 years. I didn't go read his book one time. 8 years. Got certified in his content. Went all the way with it. That's how serious I was about it. Now, having said that, that content helped me to generate millions of dollars because I learned something valuable, how to package an idea. That's really what I learned from Covey. It wasn't just the 7 habits. See, the average cat reads the 7 habits and say, well, I'd like to do those 7 habits. I read the 7 habits, went deep enough in it to figure out how he built a $275 million company. That's what I learned. See the difference between reading the book and really learning it? Okay. And that's how deep you got to go, guys. Okay. You got to go that deep in something. You can't dabble with it. Coaching, it don't matter what you do. You got to decide. You got to decide. And when you pay attention. Always remember that. When you pay attention. All right. Thank you guys for another good week. Love you. Appreciate you. Thank you for buying the book. I'll see you next week on the book club.
Next week is chapter 7, is it?
Yeah, we'll go through chapter, we'll go through 7 and 8 next week. I'll go a little bit more into the selling because they're both tied to selling. Make sure you have those read. Dejan, thank you for being such a good student too. Appreciate
My
you.
mama's book club.
This ain't your mama's book club, folks. Let's go.